Hey shit talkers, what's going on? Welcome back to another fantastic episode of Hollywood Shit. I always do that just to make him laugh. We talk about all the good shit, the bad shit, and everything in between here in Hollywood. I'm your host, Allie Quinter Bradford, and I'm joined with a special guest along with your regular co-host, but let's talk to the guest first.
Hi, I'm Erin Yvonne. How you guys doing?
Hi.
Say hi, we're gonna say hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason J. Carter. Welcome back to Hollywood Shit!
And I'm Liz Crokin. Alright, so today's hot topic is the Hollywood hustle. I think that we've all talked about, we're all in the entertainment industry, and there's a huge hustle going on that I think a lot of people don't really realize is happening because people think of this overnight success, and we're here just to share some of our experiences, celebrity experiences, and overnight is really not overnight. So if anybody else wants to hop on in and jump into that situation.
Oh my god, so you said side hustles. I think that a lot of talent, I've had several side hustles. As a matter of fact, I have 5 side hustles now. I might as well be Jamaican, you know what I mean? Like, for real. Because, you hit the nail on the head, Allie, about overnight success. And a very wise woman that we both know, all three of us named Marquis Costello, says that an overnight success... Oh, and
that's right.
And says that an overnight success is 10 years in the making, and I believe that.
No, 10 years is an overnight success.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because people don't understand how much you have to hustle and grind to you hear of the actor that goes on a bajillion auditions and stuff like that, but then there's people that have been doing it since college, since high school, and they don't make it till they're 40.
But it's still, okay, but age. Let's just bust that out real quick, because I know off camera, in the industry, we're always talking about age. Like, you said, oh my god, so-and-so hit it big when they were 30, but I really don't think nowadays that you can, or any time that you can say you have to have such and such done or be successful by this age, because, who's not to say that? I'm a firm believer in the universe and your own story, your own journey, and that, you're going to arrive at where you need to arrive, not a minute later, not a minute sooner,
Yeah.
So with age, as talent, we're always putting this pressure on that. By a certain age, we should have amassed this because we're too busy comparing ourselves to other people who, congratulations, they got success at an early age, but there's a lot of talent that did have success at an early age and then burned out at an early age, and they weren't, and back to side hustles, I push carts at Walmart, not now, but,
Hey, there won't be anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I moved on from pushing carts at Walmart.
He's evolved.
I've evolved. Now I push carts at Big Lots. No. But, just kidding, I love Big Lots. Big Lots is the bomb. But,
Can't we get a sponsor up in here?
Yeah, for real. But, the side hustle is what you have to do to stay alive in this industry, because 1, LA is very expensive.
Yes.
2, I feel LA is engineered to keep you broke. For real.
And to keep you, paying rents and not owning a home. That's
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of broke, if you think about it, there's tons of celebrities that have been homeless at one point in their life. You look at Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry invested $30,000, his entire life savings, into a play that he really, really believed in. That weekend, I think a total of maybe, 3 people showed up the entire weekend. Broke as a joke, lived out of his car, and look at him, he's like one of the top grossing African-American men in our industry.
I'm still not a fan of Tyler Perry.
It doesn't matter, you gotta respect his hustle. You gotta respect his tenacity. Because some people would have quit by then. They would have been like, oh, well, I'm homeless, let me call my mom, let me call my dad, I'm done.
Of course I respect his tenacity, but I think we all sacrifice and pay for certain things in certain ways in this industry, because, okay, he invested $30,000 into this play that only 9 people came to, but you have, no business, you have to spend a little to make a little, 1. And 2, I think that we all pay a price, be it with sanity, happiness, lack of self-esteem. There's always a give and take in this industry. So yeah, maybe some people were homeless living out of a car, but maybe, let's say, not saying you, but hypothetically speaking, maybe your cross to bear was that you went to all these auditions and were told that, because you were Asian, we're not going to book you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or me, because I'm a gay black male, I don't fit this mold, or they won't hire me for that because their audience won't resonate with their audience. So I think that there's always a price to pay, be it emotionally, financially, mentally, as talent in this industry.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about your career and what you've done, because you've done a lot of stuff in Hollywood, and it would behoove you to share with our audience, that way they know where you come from, but also what your hustle was to get to where you were and to continue to hustle to stay there.
I would say my hustle was from 8 years old to 15. I studied in a ballet company, and I took dance dedicated my whole life to dance, my whole childhood. And then when I was 17, I moved to New York and trained at Alvin Ailey in New York, which is a super prestigious ballet school, and put in like my whole summer there, auditioned for a dance commercial, and I got it. And I had to miss like my first half of school. I was living in New York, but I was from Bakersfield, so I was like homesick, and I was just like crying to my mom on the phone, like I want to come home so bad. And she's like, no, this is why you sacrificed and like went out there to do this, you know? So that was kind of like the beginning of my career as a dancer at 17. But now that I'm older, I'm like, dance is a career that it has a
Shelf life.
Yes. And you don't really realize that when you're working as a dancer. You don't think about, well, when I'm 30, what am I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just like in the present moment, finally getting all your blessings that you've worked so hard for. So you're just like receiving everything. And then, you know, I have even a couple girlfriends that it's like now, you know, they're having a hard time. Like, what am I going to do now? Like, I don't want to audition anymore as a dancer. And even if you do, it's like, I don't want to dance for 8 hours a day in rehearsal anymore, full out, in heels, you know, like.
Underpaid. Dancers are so underpaid. But really quickly, just to give you your street cred with some of our audience members, who have you danced for?
I danced for Beyonce, Britney, Janet, Pink. I was on tour with Christina Aguilera in like 3 of her videos. I was in like 3 Beyonce videos. I've just basically worked with like every top music icon, which is so cool. But even now, it's like there's no more artists like that anymore. They're all like YouTube stars, or they're all like, oh, he's got 60,000 million trillion views on his page, and I'll go to his audition and be on tour with him. And it's like, well, that's not fun. There's no more like icons.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For
well,
sure.
there still are. I mean, like Beyonce still tours and stuff, so
Yeah.
you could still. But who is your favorite person to dance for, and who is your least favorite person to dance for? Give us some dirt.
Right.
Dirt.
Like, who,
That's what
like,
people
what are they
really wanna
really
know.
like? Like, who is the hustler? Who is the diva?
Yeah, all I have to say is I feel like sometimes it's so much better to just look up to artists as like a fan versus to like meet them and know them, because then the facade's up, the gig is up, you're like, ooh, you like really see them for who they are, you know. So sometimes it's just better to like love them like
From
without
afar.
knowing
No, but
shit.
here's the thing. You're on Hollywood shit, okay? We
Right.
talk about all
All
the
the
shit.
shit.
Unfiltered, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. So let's keep it 100. Like, who is the shittiest person to work with?
I don't think I've worked with anyone that's that horrible, but I danced for NSYNC, and they were like my favorite. Just because they were so fun, and so they were just like having fun, you know, so it wasn't a big deal.
Was that when they first became famous, or was it like later?
It was like when they were like really big.
No strings attached.
No, I did.
Celebrity?
I did Girlfriend
Yeah.
at the Grammys with them, and I did another performance. It was that was like 10 years ago, so I don't even remember. But I just remember their energy was cool, and they were like happy and fun to be around. And I mean, I'd rather work with a guy artist for sure than a girl, because girls always have like little things, little issues.
Clicks.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, you can't be too cute. You can't.
Oh yeah, you
You know
can't
what
be
I mean?
higher than them.
Christina Aguilera. Oh,
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
You can't be too. You know, you gotta keep
She
it
has
cute
to
in
look
the back.
better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Are
to see
all
the
of them like
dancing.
that, or just some of them? Like, was Britney like that?
Britney was really nice. I worked with her at different stages of her career. I worked with her in the beginning, and then I worked with her in the middle, like after she was with Kevin and going through a divorce and all that. And then now I don't know who she is anymore.
Have you worked with her recently though? What was the last time you worked with her?
Gosh, probably like 5 years ago.
What do you think happened to her? I mean, I've covered her for years as a journalist, and I think that there's just so much more. Beside the fact that she had a mental breakdown, I think that there's a lot more that went on behind the scenes with, you know,
Yeah,
her
I just
breakdown.
think the industry. I mean, look at Michael Jackson. Who else has like lost their shit? And
so many people.
Mariah Carey. I know you love her, but you remember when she
but
showed
she's
up on
with a
Sarah?
billionaire now, so she's got it together.
The thing about Mariah Carey, though, and I mean, I will say that Mariah Carey did back in 2001. She did go on TRL, you know, but she was overworked. But Hollywood loves a comeback, and Mariah Carey for sure. Even she said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna quote her. She was in an interview with a little-known journalist named Barbara Walters, and
Jeez.
He loves him some Mariah. If you guys haven't figured it out.
No, but she told Barbara Walters, and it's always resonated with me. She said, people counted me out and said I was done, but you know what? It's okay. Count me back in. I'm back, and damn it, she was back. Imagination Mimi was like the out.
But that's why I think Britney's so strange, because I don't feel like Britney's ever really come back to what she used to be. Do you understand?
They keep her like
so controlled.
Yeah, she's
and medicated.
She's no longer
right.
That's what it seems like to me too. That's what I thought too.
Like,
her eyes are vacant.
Yes. But I mean,
she's a clone. I'm telling you.
we were talking about this with the Illuminati.
No, but it's true. I feel like clones are like the new thing. Like everyone's like, this person's clone. That's a clone, and I'm like, oh, is this real?
See,
like, are we really gonna believe?
I thought about Erin. Erin's dialed into energy and the universe and stuff like that. She knows what's up. And I heard that the other day too. That someone said that Copernic, the guy that's in
Kaepernick.
Yeah, he's like Illuminati now too, and I'm like, how is that possible? But everyone's just associating everyone with the Illuminati. Shit, if I'm gonna get some money, associate my black ass with the Illuminati. It's not the pain.
Yeah, but then they're gonna kill you and then clone you, and you are not gonna exist.
As long as they make a better version of me.
Well, really quick though, because you said they, like you feel like they keep her control. Who's they?
I guess her team,
like
her
the
dad.
music executives.
Her dad's still in charge of her money.
I don't think it's her dad. I think it's her like management team.
I just think everyone has a lot of money to be made off of her. So they're like, she wants to rest, and they're like, no, my daughter's going to college. We have a mansion. We just bought our third car. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're like, you need to do the single.
Right.
Go in there and record it.
Right. Put that
go out there and learn that choreography. Wear those shimmer tights, and God bless you. Godspeed.
But they also hide her. Like her sister has that new show, and they won't show her talking. Like, she doesn't, you know how on reality TV shows, I brought this up before, and everybody does testimonials, they'll play her voice, but they don't show her face talking while she's talking, and then on the bottom of the show, on the screen, it says, this is Britney's voice, or this is what Britney's audio, it's like the weirdest thing, and then they'll show her, there's something so shady.
Because she's probably reading it like a script. She's probably like, today I went to the mall. It was crazy.
Well, you know,
when you look at Britney, though, get out of her what you need.
The reason why Britney probably hasn't bounced back is, and you guys are making really good points, but I feel like because when stars have meltdowns, they go and do, after it's all said and done, they go on TV, they do interviews, they're present in their identity in the world. Mariah went on and talked on Oprah and talked about her breakdown. She got in front of it. She owned it. She allowed us to.
Well, she came out of it. Britney's still.
But that's the whole
thing.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So it's like.
That's why they don't let her do interviews, because she's still like a freaking robot zombie.
Yeah. And her album sounds very like, I don't even like Britney Spears anymore. I was not like.
She's like the reason I moved to LA to dance.
Dance, right?
You know, and then like when that happened, I was like, oh, and someone was saying like, oh, Britney auditions. I'm like, I don't.
I have no desire to dance.
Yeah, that made me sad.
And at the VMAs, I mean, she was with that G-Eazy guy, and the one moment where she's trying to make like some kind of like noise where she grabbed his crotch was very Janet Jackson in video circa 1993. Right. Yeah, it was just like Britney. I don't know. I feel like what she should do is just go do her residency and just disappear. Just be like,
relax.
Beats of the new city.
Greed. People are too greedy.
Yeah.
People can't just
They
follow
won't let
her.
She's like a slave to the music industry. I think she's. Okay,
literally. That song is so true now. Bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
Wow, how depressing.
But you know what? I also you mentioned Oprah, and I want to talk about Oprah because she's another one who's hustled like everything that she's ever done. You know what I mean? And she comes from such a horrible background, and that's also something I wanted to touch on. You know, I watched Tony Robbins, you guys, last night, the Netflix special, and the whole time I was like, ugh. Like, there's so many people that have been through so much shit, but I tell you what, these people that go through shit come out so strong.
They're
and those
resilient.
are the people who, a lot of them are so successful, and Oprah's one of them. You know, like, she was sexually abused a lot as a child, passed back and forth between her mom, her dad. She had a baby when she was 14. It passed away. Like, she has been through so much stuff. And the crazy thing is, she was working as a news anchor and got fired because she was getting too emotionally attached every time she covered a story. But her ability to empathize with other people, which I think comes from her past, is her gift. And that is the reason why she's been so successful as a host in general, because people love her genuineness and her ability to be there for her people.
See, I disagree with that. I watch Oprah. I mean, not to be confrontational or anything.
No, it's okay.
But
Confrontation's good
I
shit.
watched Oprah my whole life, and I felt like Oprah was way more real, relatable, and human when she was overweight with the baby fro, and when she first started, because Oprah is notoriously known, and I know people who work at OWN that have worked with Oprah. Oprah is very calculated, and everything she does is for a reason. And it may be not for a good reason, but
to benefit something,
right.
Oh.
So I've watched Oprah my whole life, and I can remember certain seasons where Oprah was very. She didn't let the talent talk unless you were a major celebrity, like Tom Cruise or Barbra Streisand or someone, and she really her shows weren't. She didn't show empathy. It was basically like, oh, so, okay, you want to get a divorce? Tell me why you want to get a divorce. Oh, that's nice. So, why did you cheat on... Like, it was just... She seemed very... There's a wall. It didn't seem genuine to me. I think people like Rosie O'Donnell or...
Rosie O'Donnell?
No, Rosie O'Donnell... But Rosie O'Donnell was real. Rosie O'Donnell, I like... And I mean, I'm a 90s kid. I grew up in the age of the daytime talk show. Ricky Lake, Maury Povich, Jenny Jones. I mean, like... So I watched a lot of daytime TV, and Oprah was always the most inauthentic to me. I think people got hung up and bought into the brand of Oprah Winfrey that made her who she was, because a lot of these on-air talents don't do anything differently than what we're doing here now. They just got famous doing it, so they were the gold standard. Like Ryan Seacrest, I could do Ryan Seacrest's job. Give me $60 million a year.
I can think of some of Oprah's like greatest shows, and all those shows she's like crying like a freaking baby.
Giving away stuff.
No, she did that. She did that one show with all the men that had been sexually abused. She's done a lot with like sexually abused people. I mean,
I guess she just talks about things that everyone tries to like cover up.
Right.
Right. Well, she was the first person, like she on air in the 80s came out and talked about her being sexually molested as a child. Like most people wouldn't have the balls to do that.
I don't know. I don't. The statement you made was about empathy.
Okay.
So I'm not saying Oprah doesn't reveal about herself. Absolutely, she does reveal. I'm sorry. I think Oprah does reveal. I'm just saying that I don't think she's one of the most empathetic hosts to me that I've seen on television.
So let me ask you this: who in Hollywood then do you look up to in terms of like their ability to hustle? Because again, I think another common misconception is like you get a TV show, you get a movie, and then all of a sudden like you're good, and then some people are one-hit wonders and people don't understand why. And there's so many different things that go into that.
And this is gonna sound really, really like, but I don't look up to stars at all. Like I'm a huge Beyonce fan, but I don't ever. but this is why I like Beyonce, because she realizes that without me buying her music, consuming her products, she wouldn't eat. We give these stars power. We give them life. You know, we're the reason why. Okay, so Janet Jackson, you know. Huge Janet Jackson fan too. People stopped buying her music, so she's not as big a star as she was before. So I would say, but if I had to choose a star about their hustle, Jennifer Lopez for sure. One, Jennifer Lopez said, "I'm gonna be a star," and damn it, she's a star. And she was a fly girl on Living Color. She was like, you know what, Janet, I don't want to dance for you anymore. I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. So Selena, which she actually did a pretty good job in Selena.
She did.
She just took over Selena's life.
I mean,
She
Selena,
kind of did.
Selena.
You know what? Let's just admit it. She's totally Selena reincarnated. Wait, actually, when did Selena die? When was she born?
95. Selena died 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jennifer Lopez, the thing about Jennifer Lopez though too is that she was one of the first pop stars to launch a fragrance back in 2001, Glow, and people laughed and said, "You're kidding me." Glow did $20 million in revenue the first year for Coty, who's a major fragrance provider. So, and then she went on to sing. Lord knows Jennifer Lopez cannot sing, but her albums all multi-platinum.
Yeah.
All
Because
multi-platinum.
she was banging the right people.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but the hustle. I mean, we have,
Hey,
I slept. So that was real hard.
That's
hustle.
a part of the
Banging a lot of
And
people
for
is
sure.
hard work.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, listen, not cashing things. So, but business-wise, her brand is the bomb. Jennifer Lopez, I mean, she's in Kohl's. She's
like our Kardashian. She knows how to brand herself.
and to me, that's awesome. So if I had to choose, if someone pointed a gun to my head and said, Jason, choose a star, it would be Jennifer Lopez. But realistically, I don't look up to any of them because we can do the same thing. Why? I mean, they had more, and who's not to say that we won't do the same thing? You know, I've at 37 years old, I've learned that giving putting energy into people or thinking like, oh my gosh, I want to be like them, or I really respect them. Good. Congratulations, good for them. They made it. It's my turn to do that. You know.
Yeah.
So and that's not coming from a place of arrogance or cockiness or being a hater. It's just how I feel like we all possess the same skills. We just need to go out there and make it happen. And does that mean is that wrong?
No, I think that's great, but at the same time too, I think that to be successful, sometimes you do have to look at the things that other successful people do and
copy them.
Yeah,
emulate them.
But to copy, but to do like them is one thing. But the question was like look up to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't look up to any of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, let me ask you, okay, so Liz, I know you've covered a lot of celebrities in your career as a journalist here in Hollywood. Is there anyone in particular that you really respect and admire because of their hustle?
Well, it's funny because I was looking
Meryl Streep. Just
Shut
kidding.
Why did you say? Why
I
did
don't
you say
know.
Meryl Streep?
Because I was watching Devil Wears Prada earlier today.
Oh.
Sounds like a movie now.
It's a fantastic movie.
Actually, speaking of Devil Wears Prada, I when I was writing my book, I looked up to that author and like what she was able to do with her novel, and I actually was like looking at your notes over here, and I noticed that you wrote down J.K. Rowling, and I actually was going to bring her up tonight when she wrote her book, she was completely broke and living on welfare, and when I wrote my book, I was completely broke. Actually, I was in debt and living on welfare and disability. So, her story, I'm a writer, so I look up to other writers and people, but I also look up to people that have been able to been in a situation like that and like turn nothing into gold. And
Absolutely.
I don't think I would have been able to like write a book broke on welfare with a brain injury if it wasn't for people like J.K. Rowling and hearing stories about other people who have had horrible medical situations or disabilities or whatever life circumstances that happened to them that they weren't able to get out of it. So I admire people more. Not necessarily celebrities. I admire people that have overcome like great obstacles, particularly health obstacles, like war veterans, like people with disabilities, because that's, what I've experienced in my life. And like there was a time when I didn't even know if I was going to live through some of the things I've been through, like literally. So, but yeah, J.K. Rowling, people that have defied the odds, who have, were given like X amount of days to live, or people that had brain injuries or became paralyzed and were told they were never going to walk again. When I got my brain injury 4 years ago, I was told that at my 1 year anniversary that my vision would not clear up at all, and it was really bad. I saw floaters and massive photophobia. I wouldn't, like 2 years ago, even a year ago, I could not sit in a studio like this because my photophobia and sensitivity to light was so bad. But anyways, I had doctors that told me that my vision would never clear up at all, and like all these horrible things would happen, and I'd never be able to work a full-time job again, and like all this stuff. And I've been able to defy a lot of what those doctors predicted with my health. And so those are the kinds of people that I look up to, people that kind of defy the odds with their health and overcome just really major obstacles, right?
I'm glad you said that, because there are a few celebrities, and now we're in a day and an age where it's all about revealing and being open and sharing with your fans and what have you. And there's people like Shannon Doherty, who's going through cancer right now and openly, taking pictures and sharing her pictures and showing people, because at the end of the day, like, you're right, celebrities are just people, and some people put them on pedestals, some people look up at them, some of them carbon copy them and get lip injections and crazy stuff because they think this person's great. But at the end of the day, they are human beings, and they go through the same shit that we all go through, whether it is being homeless and falling on your ass and having to fight for your dream, or getting sick and having to go through those things. But I think it does take a brave person to do that openly and publicly and just put your shit out there to hopefully inspire people. And you did that with a book. You got very candid about your personal life and shared it with the world in hopes that other women would be aware of, sex predators and stuff like that. So
exactly.
It's kudos.
I think what makes people, role models are everybody gets thrown shit, okay?
Yeah.
And I think what defines you as a person is how you deal with that.
Absolutely.
Period.
I was going to say that you said that you looked up to J.K. Rowling for defying the odds, but I think, and that goes back to my whole thing about why people always, like, they'll say, well, I look up to so-and-so for this, when you yourself have done exactly what she did in your own story. You defied the odds.
Yeah.
You were resilient. So we all have that inside of us, and I guess that's why I get so not bothered, but like when people were like, oh my God, I look up to, they lived out of a car and they were this and that. Well, that was their journey. I was clinically depressed for 6 years of my life. I attempted suicide twice. No, and I don't ever talk about that. So, but I didn't go to psychiatry. Like it was a lot of things, but I knew that God put me here for something more. Something more. At 16 years old, I knew God. So it's like we all defy the odds in our own way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? And we may not be famous, or we may not have millions of dollars, or no one's writing a story about us, or we may have never had a platform to tell our story yet. But what we've gone through in our lives is every bit as important, and every bit as prolific, and every bit as revealing, every bit as awe-inspiring as what Oprah went through. It's just a different story, you know what I mean? Like, and we can't compare people's stories because, like, I've never had a brain injury before. I've never been a victim of sexual assault or anything like that. So I can't say that what I've gone through is better than what you've gone through because, we're two different people. But when people always talk about being inspired, I'm more inspired by someone normal like us than a celebrity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I think for me, it's just when I was having like my darkest days, and after everything I went through when I got the brain injury, which was a result of a sexual assault, like I was very suicidal. I was on all these antidepressants. I mean, like,
yeah.
I never attempted suicide, but I fantasized about it. I mean, I was just not even like the emotional side. Just I was in physically so much pain all day long. I mean, I only kind of felt okay when I was laying in bed, but even when I was laying in bed, my head pain was so bad that like I was just fantasizing about dying because just the idea of not being in pain anymore was like just ecstasy, right?
Right.
But what helped me get through, those difficult times was knowing that other people had gone through similar things, whether it's someone like J.K. Rowling or there was a lot of books that I read about people that you've never heard of before. People that have been victims of sexual assault or like had brain injuries, some people that were in comas for months. There's this one guy I really look up to as an author. He was in a coma for years and he came out of it, but he couldn't talk, he couldn't move. He was completely paralyzed, and everyone thought he was a vegetable, and he wasn't. He couldn't understand what everyone was saying for years until they finally figured it out. So, those are just knowing that people can overcome catastrophic situations is what helped me, get through my life experience. I think we all have it in us, but when something really bad happens to us, it's hard to remember that, and you feel really alone. But for me, hearing about other people's like survivor stories is what helped me get through. And
it's always darkest before the dawn. Always darkest before the dawn.
So true.
You know what I mean? For reals. I mean, you always go through. It seems like what's that? Winston Churchill. I'm probably wrong.
They're going through hell.
Keep going.
That's one of my favorite quotes. I love that.
When I read that, when I read that in 2004, I read that quote for the first time, and I thought, this motherfucker, like, why would you wish that on somebody? You know what I mean? Like, because in 2004, I was going through a bad breakup with an abusive guy, like, bad, and I'm thinking like this, and I moved to LA a year before, with a car and $1,000. It was the longest year of my life. I slept on so many couches. It was just, popcorn was like everything. So, and then I moved back to Albuquerque and had to deal with, oh, you failed. Oh, you didn't make, just all this stuff. And then I was still in the closet dating an abusive guy. So who do you talk to about this stuff? So I'm at some coffee place and there's this saying in the wall, on the wall, it says, if you're going through hell, keep going. I'm thinking like, why would you, what does that even mean? Like, why would you want me to keep going through hell? But then my mom also said it's always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah.
And in hindsight and in retrospect, I understand what she's saying now. But it's just like, I'm telling you, life is fucked up. Can I say that on camera? Life is fucked up.
Well, you just did. Sorry. I want to bring things back, but I will say, when I was watching the Tony Robbins special, something he said when he was talking to each and individual person.
Who was featured in this? I need to check this out.
It's on Netflix, and he wasn't necessarily talking to anybody in particular. However, Maria Menounos was at that particular session, as was Derek
Huff?
Is this a series or is it just a
No,
watch?
it's just a documentary.
It's a documentary.
It's a documentary.
Oh,
His convention.
Yeah,
things.
exactly. Like, they crammed 12 days into 2 hours, but you got highlights of different things. And so one of the things he was saying, there was a girl who had a poor relationship with her father, and he did drugs and all those other things, and so she was blaming him for all these reasons why she screwed up. And then he turned around and he said, that's awesome, you can blame him for all the bad things, but how about you blame him for the good things? Because if he didn't put you through all those hardships, just like all these celebrities, just like us.
Are you talking about God?
No.
I missed it, I'm sorry.
Tony Robbins.
No, okay.
Anyways, like I was saying, basically, Tony Robbins was telling the girl, blame your father for all the good things that you are, because of him you are resilient, because of him you are driven, because of him you will never take anyone's shit ever again. And if you were a princess and everybody gave you everything that you wanted in life, then you would just expect things to come to you and you wouldn't know how to work for them.
Yeah,
so again, bringing it back to some of these people, and I know you're not like really big on this whole look up to celebrities, but I do admire people that have defied the odds, that have gone through whatever they've been through, and they came out still a great person. Mm-hmm. And it's because of those things that they said, no, damn it, I will be successful. My mom told me that I was never going to amount to shit. She kicked me out. I lived on a couch, whatever the case may be. Halle Berry's mom cut her off from funds, and she was in a homeless shelter. And she, till this day, attributes her ability to be able to handle anything because she got through that. So the point of me...
Except for men.
Yeah. But the point of me saying all that is to you at home is we do that in our everyday lives. I've blamed my father for so many things and so many issues that I have, and I have not blamed him for the fact that I am so creative. I have not blamed him for the fact that I strive for success every day because I will not be a failure. I saw failure. You know what I mean? So it's like taking those negatives and really full circle bringing them into a positive and owning both sides of everything instead of quickly being like, well, he made me this way and he made me this way and da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's it. That's my 2 cents right there. Anyways, we totally got away from the Hollywood hustle, but that's okay. Like, it's good shit. It's real shit. It's relatable shit. I think that everybody at home has their own story that they
for sure do.
Totally.
So... Anyway, the message here in tonight's episode was just like, we start off with hustle and staying on top, and really I wanted to say that, when you achieve success will only continue to go if you continue to work. It's not something where you can be stagnant and just be like, yeah, I made it, I'm good. Like, you just have to keep on working and improving and growing as a person, and that applies to everybody.
Yep.
The message is, if you're going through hell, keep going, because you will come out of hell eventually. It may take a while, but you'll get there.
Yeah.
Just keep walking.
Yeah.
Don't look behind.
And it's so funny because I think I attribute my fearlessness with certain things to having gone through being, and I wouldn't say destitute, that's like such a weird word to use, but like having had nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
At your lowest.
At my lowest. And also there's a silver lining in being in your lowest because it can't get any worse.
Yeah.
And there's a little sense of peace in that. I know it sounds really twisted and dark and twisty, but when you know it can't get worse than this, it's like, okay, well, great. You have hope. That's where the glimmer of hope comes, because you're like, shit sucks now, so it's gotta get better. It can't, unless I die tomorrow, it can't get any worse than this. So, you always have a little hope there, and that was fun that way last week. Yeah. For sure.
But things are better now.
Oh.
Because we're all together.
Totally.
It's great.
And Aaron too.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, cool. Well, that's tonight's topic, and I think we should probably wrap it up. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And yes, Erin will be joining us again for our next episode, so you have to check her out for that. But in the meantime, make sure you follow us on social media at HollywoodShitLA. You can also find us online on our website, HollywoodShitLA.wix.com /splash. You can
I like that. That's visual.
Inspire. Anyway, so that's me, and make sure you follow all my fantastic co-hosts, starting with Liz.
At Liz Crokin on Instagram and Twitter.
At Erin Yvonne, Insta and Twitter.
Oh my god, I'm 2 different things. Just follow me on Instagram at Jason Carter Official.
Just look for abs and underwear. You'll find them.
There you go.
Anyways, until next time, shit talkers, we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.